Al, the day has finally come upon us.
It's been a long time coming.
It is time to talk about chaos.
Chaos.
Man, oh man. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to this week's episode of Season Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady
Hello.
This is episode number 275, and we are talking about Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
Mm-hmm.
It's out here.
It's finally out. It's been a long time coming. Well, not really a long time coming. It's like a year coming, but still.
Yeah. The chaos is here.
The chaos is here. We've been following it. We've had a few episodes about demos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Me being scared by menus.
That's true.
Hee hee hee. And it finally dropped.
That it sure did. This is a weird game.
It is a very weird game.
Yeah.
It's a very weird game.
I think that's the easiest way to describe it if you're just going to boil it down to like one thing. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you entirely.
Yeah. Let's dive into some, I guess, factual insight about this game. I don't know how else I was going to describe that. My brain's mush right now.
That worked.
This game came out on March 18th, 2022 for the PlayStation 4 and 5, the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and the Microsoft PC Windows platform.
We played it on PS5.
We did play it on PS5, yes.
For context.
This game was also weird because, like, you know how most PS5 games are where they have settings based on, like, do you want to prioritize resolution or frame rate?
Yeah.
This does it apparently based on how your TV is.
Okay.
So, like, you were mentioned, like, I think when we booted up that demo, the last demo of it, you were like, oh, well, I'm going to pick one of these settings and do that. And I was like, oh, I didn't get that. That's weird. I didn't have that setting. And apparently people looking into it, and it's like, it's tied to how well your TV is. And that determines if you get those settings or not.
Really?
Yeah, which is very bizarre.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it helped me any, but like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
Yeah. Based on your TV, huh?
Yep,
Wild.
apparently.
Wild.
We could talk about development, but I believe we've already talked about most of the stuff that's already on Wikipedia in the past.
Yeah, probably.
In like when we talked about like the first demo or so. And I don't think there's really much else that's new here, except I think the one thing they really didn't come out and talk about until real close to release is that, like, yo, this is just a Final Fantasy fan service game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did they just market the game as that?
That's what they should have marketed it as. And like, I didn't realize how much of a Final Fantasy fan service game it was until I recognized the fan service for me. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then I started like piecing it all together. I'm like, oh, and like looking for it. Not that I had to look very hard once I realized what was going on, but
but like, it's like, it's strange that I think they were starting to come out and say that like right before release. Like, I think the Japanese account was saying like, oh, hey, this dungeon is going to look familiar if you've played this game and stuff like that. But like, they never really said that prior to putting the game out.
No, they made it sound like, oh, this is just based on Final Fantasy 1 and that's it.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, I couldn't tell you. Like, here's all of the worlds that are in Final Fantasy Origin, Strangers of Paradise. It is quite a wild variety of stuff from essentially all 15 games in the mainline series.
Yeah.
The Chaos Shrine is from the original Final Fantasy.
Yes.
The Western Keep is based off of Castle Palamecia from Final Fantasy 2.
Hmm?
Crystal Mirage is based off of the Crystal Tower from Final Fantasy 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Flying Fortress is based off of the Tower of Babel from Final Fantasy 4.
Mm-hmm.
The ruins of Machina are based off the Ronka ruins in Final Fantasy 5.
Mm-hmm.
Terra Tortura is based off of the Floating Continent in Final Fantasy 6. The Sunken Shrine is based off of the Junon underwater reactor from Final Fantasy 7. Mount Golg is based off of the Fire Cavern in Final Fantasy VIII. The Wicked Arbor is based off of the Evil Forest in Final Fantasy IX.
Which is where I noticed this.
Yeah. The Hallowed Massif is based off of Mount Gagazets from Final Fantasy X. The Ancient's Tower is based off of Delk Fudd's Tower from Final Fantasy XI. The Cavern of Earth is based off of the Tomb of Wraithwall from Final Fantasy XII. The Refren Wetlands is based off of the Sunleth Waterscape from Final Fantasy XIII. Provoca Seagrot is based off of Sastasha from Final Fantasy XIV. And Vigilia Court is based off of the Citadel from Final Fantasy XV.
Yep.
And they basically will, like, there's like a little like blurb that'll come in and be like, this thing from Dimension Blank
Yeah.
is this, and that's how you kind of associate which game it comes out of.
Yeah.
Which is so, like, again, it's so bizarre that they did not come out and be like, hey, you want to see some cool reinterpretations of various areas from all of the mainline Final Fantasy games?
Here
like,
you
I
go.
I feel like if they were so upset about the whole memes and the chaos stuff
Right.
of this game, they would have shifted the entire marketing and put it on that instead of just doubling down on the chaos and dumb stuff that came out of it.
I mean, I do appreciate the dumb stuff.
No, yeah, totally.
But yeah, it I totally had no idea that this was a thing. And like once I heard the music and then like put it together, like, oh hey, there's the stumps that you can even drink the water out of, and like the Evil Forest reference. I was like, well, I'll be that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I saw someone talk about when we were playing the demo, like, oh, the second dungeon is based off of Sastasha from Final Fantasy XIV, which is the first dungeon you play in that game. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is 100% that. This is definitely that. Yeah, that's weird.
Makes sense.
Like, I was even talking to someone in 14 playing that game, and I was like, they were like, we're talking about how, like, you know, they pull from random stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, they pulled from Sastasha. And they were like, wait, that's that? What? I was like, yeah.
Wild and
so weird.
I do want to say though, I'm a bit disappointed that they just did like the fire cabin from Final Fantasy VIII.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many interesting areas of Final Fantasy VIII, and they're like, what if we just do the fire cavern that's basically like a straight line towards Ifrit?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, no. Like, Find Your Way is great, and I like that they remixed Find Your Way. The song is awesome, but the song is also in multiple places.
I guess that's also another thing, is that like all of these dungeons will have remixed songs from their respective games.
Yeah, that's how I put it together with 9. I was like, this is the Evil Forest theme from 9, and then like when I got to the volcano fire caverny thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, yeah, this is just Find Your Way. Like, I know what this is. But yeah, I was like, man, give us better Final Fantasy VIII representation. Come on. Come on.
But yeah, that stuff is just so, like, again, we're just gonna keep saying it. It's weird.
It's weird. It's so weird. And like, oh man, I got so lost in the one that's Final Fantasy VI. I got so lost.
Yeah, that one's tricky.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy VII one just makes you look like you're playing Remake.
It really does.
Which is wild to think.
Like, here's a preview of what the underwater reactor looks like, guys. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure Remake would make it look better, but like, general idea is there.
Yeah. I guess to pivot off of that, like, this game visually is not great.
No, it is not.
It's not great.
No.
Like, it runs well on PS5. I think there are issues on the previous generation of consoles. Like, it does run a little less so. But for me, it ran fine. I didn't really have any issues or hiccups here and there. I think we maybe had like one.
Yeah, I can only.
And that was when we were share screening
at
the end. But like, outside of that, it was fine. I had no complaints outside. Just, it doesn't look all that great. But like, even then, I'm like, whatever. Who cares? Like, that's not that big of a deal for me.
No, it's not. It's just funny because like, Neon straight up looks like she's from a whole different game because her model just looks so strange.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're looking for a like absolutely gorgeous game like you get from like remake, this is not it.
Or I guess traditionally what you think from like a Final Fantasy game.
That's fair.
It's not that.
No.
No. Um, Gameplay wise, it's really fun. Like I think the way they implement the job system is smart because it gives you a
Hmm.
whole lot of different variety in terms of how you play this game and approach this game.
Hmm.
Because there's what like five, six, seven, eight different like core jobs you can choose from, and they all have like their own variations that split off later in the game. That when you get like the expert jobs and all that sort of stuff,
Hmm.
which I think is cool because like it allows you to really pick and choose the kind of play style you want to have from the game in a way that's not just like, oh, well, you have to play this specific style and that's it.
Right.
So like that's real cool. Like Team Ninja who did this, obviously they had done Neo and Neo 2 prior to this, and those games also played really really well. So, they carried over a lot of like that DNA into this. Even though
Hmm.
like this does have a lot of like Souls-esque features, it's not really a Souls game in the traditional sense cuz like, you know, you can die and stuff in this game, but like you're not really punished for it
Yeah.
in the way that you would be in those games. Like you can die and you'll still have like experience and like items and stuff. It's be like, all right, well, I guess let's go fight these things again. Yahoo!
Woohoo.
I mean, there is definitely parts of the game that are challenging. Like that, the difficulty stuff is represented in this game. Obviously, like we've talked about with the previous demos, this does have difficulty options, which I think is smart.
Yes.
Um, because it allows more people to play this game, and especially if it's a Final Fantasy game, you want more people to come in and have more eyes on it and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's real smart. And then being able to play all this entire game co-op, well, most of this entire game co-op, is also really fun because we were able to do that here and there for different parts of the game, and just getting to go in and like help each other, and just being able to play the game together was just a real fun time.
And be chaotic pals.
Yes,
And it's wild because like it'll replace like one of your team members, but then like
you just bring
whoever's
over like
you just
your
bring
your
over your
stuff.
Jack.
Yeah, which is cool because you could basically go into a co-op game and level up your characters, and apparently you can just get. I guess we know this firsthand. You can get progress through the co-op, which is
Yep.
also incredibly smart.
Yep. I do wish they had made it easier. Like if somebody came in and say they like are playing as Jed, that you didn't have to like back out of the whole thing so that Jed could then be like the other player so they could get XP.
Yeah.
That would have been nice if they had made that easier, but like there are worse things in the world that could have happened here.
Totally. Like if you look at this game just as like a meme, I don't think you're going to fully understand just like the intricacies of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the gameplay, there's a lot of good to be found there. Like this is a fun game to play.
It is a fun game to play, and I will say that I appreciated that they gave me a baby mode. I know that we had talked about the difficulties, but like I am not here for hard games. That's not my thing. I'm not interested. Don't care. Like if you're gonna give me a baby mode, I'll probably play the baby mode because like I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have energy. Just let me have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a good time with the baby mode. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like it was just like me doing nothing, and I still got to like have fun with a lot of the classes, and you got to hear me like maniacally laughing whenever I set something on fire.
Yeah.
um, but I, as you mentioned, it makes it more accessible to a lot more people because if you're gonna stick with that like super hard difficulty, then like that's gonna turn off people like me, and I don't want to be turned off of it because this game's stupid and I love it.
But it also has that for people who like want to engage
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that sort of stuff. Like, there's a hard difficulty at just the outset, and then once you beat the game, there's an even harder difficulty that unlocks, which apparently is where like
difficulty.
there's more missions and higher levels of items you can get as well that are tied to that. So like all
Wow.
that stuff is there for people who want to engage with that kind of content, but also if you are, you don't want to, but you want to see this game through, like there are avenues that you are able to do that for.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, I think is very smart. There's also a season pass for this game, and I don't understand how there's a season pass for this game.
What?
So that's the thing. I don't know what they're gonna do with it because I don't think they've actually mentioned like what they're putting in as a season pass stuff. But like, if they were like, I don't know, here's more dungeons to do if you want, I'd be like, okay, sure. I would play more of this game.
Yeah.
I would want to see what weird other stuff you would put in here.
Yeah.
What side games you'd want to make weird remixes of levels wise. So I would be interested in that, but like I don't think they've said one way or the other like what that stuff's going to entail other than it's like, hey, we have this. And I was like, what? Okay, sure. I guess.
Woo.
But of course, the main thing that people are coming to this game for, or at least wanting to see out of this game, is what the heck is this story?
Yep.
And I feel like people are going to be disappointed if they're coming into it just for jokes.
Yeah, they are.
Because it's not really that memey of a game. Like, there's dumb moments. There's
some real dumb moments.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are dumb moments in this game. But also, like, it's a pretty straightforward kind of story.
Yeah.
So, like, this isn't just, like, dumb stuff for the sake of dumb stuff. Like, it's fairly easy to understand what's going on here. And, like, I think the interesting thing from this game is, like, the implications it sets up for Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah.
And, like, we were talking about this when I beat the game, is, like, how they were able to, like, bring forth characterization to these characters from that game that, normally would never have had this level of characterization or, like, anything whatsoever.
Right.
And I think that's, like, fairly interesting that they were able to do that and pull it off and, like, in a way that actually makes sense and is kind of successful in how they do it. Which, if you would look at this game from the onset, from that first trailer, you would never have thought that.
No. No, absolutely not.
So that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything that they've said on the box is basically true. This is a prequel to Final Fantasy 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that those trailers they had to put out because everyone figured out that Jack is Garland is true.
Yep. That is the fact.
Yeah. And you got to go find and defeat Chaos. Chaos. I mean, the only thing that they should have done is instead of getting Frank Sinatra's My Way, they should have got Limp Bizkit's My Way.
Oh, man. Hilarious. It's still so, like, confusing. They're like, let's just put My Way in here. It's like, what?
I mean, I guess it makes sense at the end of the game. Thematically, it makes sense.
There's a reason. It's still weird.
It's still funny.
Oh my god. This is chaos.
Yeah, but what if this was like the same game, but like there's a face-off with Jack and Chaos, and you just hear, "You think you're special."
I mean,
here comes Fred Durst.
We got something relatively similar with the weird music that they had in that one scene,
which they had to now put earbuds in so people knew he wasn't just blaring it out of his phone speaker. But I think it's funnier. Like, hang on, I gotta take my earbuds out.
Yeah, and then the earbuds actually became like a thing later on in the story too, with Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well.
You want to listen to some Limp Bizkit?
She's like, I memorized it. I'm gonna play it on my lute.
Oh man.
She just plays Limp Bizkit on her lute.
It's just one of those days.
Oh man, but yeah, I think we questioned that when we played the demo. We're like, is he just like blasting this music? And they're like, oh, okay, or is he like, does he have earbuds in and everybody's just confused by him walking off after saying?
I mean, that's real good.
It's real good. It's real good. There are definitely real funny moments in this game.
Yes.
Um, and that's obviously one of them. Um, man, they talk about people having a one-track mind. Jack has a one-track mind.
Yeah, it's
There's
just
one thing
chaos.
on his mind, and it is chaos and defeating it.
No emotions, just chaos.
I love it, like the way that the three dudes meet at the beginning. They're just like walk up to each other and like, rock, rock. Yeah, we all have rock. Okay, fist bump. Woo!
You want to go fight chaos? Cool. 2 weeks later, we're on a boat.
2 weeks later, they just skipped like all the fact that they had to do stuff to like become important enough to go fight chaos, and then it's like, you don't need to know any of that. What happened? Just 2 weeks later. Like, what?
Nonsense.
What? A little spit will
Good.
clean up that blood, though.
I really love the scene where Jack is. I think they're about to fight the lich.
Oh
Lich?
yeah, the lich. That's one of
And-
my favorite scenes in the game.
And the lich is basically like trying to describe, like, tell them who they are, and Jack's just like, I don't give a who you are. Just starts going to fight.
Just punches him in the face.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Legitimately, that's my favorite scene in this game.
It's very good. I mean, it's
Like-
emblematic of the character. It makes total sense.
No, it totally does. It's just hilarious because the lich is like giving this whole like drawn out explanation of like who he is and what he's here for and like what he's gonna do. Jack's like, I ain't here for this, man.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't here for this. You chaos? No. Okay, well, you're in my way of defeating chaos, so let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's
good.
so funny. I love it. I love it so much. There's just so many funny, stupid moments, and like you said, this game is not completely memey.
No.
Like there are many moments in the story that's like, oh wow, that happened. I'm thinking in particular of like the city at the end.
Yeah, like I think the
Um,
back half of this game is more like where the seriousness of the story ramps up,
Yeah.
which I think it would make sense because like if you were still going with like the more jokiness, or I guess not necessarily jokiness, but like the less serious nature of like the beginning parts of this game, like I don't think it would work as well.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, I appreciate that because I'm like, this game's stupid and I love it. And I stand by that. This game's stupid and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a weird game. But it's stupid and I love it.
Yeah.
But I think that if it had just been like that the whole time, it would have gotten old.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's like what makes those moments shine is that like, hey, we're doing serious stuff. Oh no, Jack's just gonna say I don't give a who you are. Okay, moving on. Like, oh, okay, all right, sure.
Real funny.
But then you also have like that intertwined with like whether or not you want to like remember things that might be painful and like
Mhm.
what that's like to have memory loss and what like your duties could potentially be and like you get the little side stories that are like this is how this stranger like failed miserably and had everybody around them die. And like once you start putting it together, like, oh, that's them. That's all these guys. That's sad. Oh no. And so like I don't know. What's his name? Ash. Ash like has this like lingering sadness from like his entire squad getting wiped out on his watch. He's like, holy shit. This is not what I came here for, but like, okay. Sure. I'm gonna go set something on fire though.
And then there's like the whole thing of the Lufinians and like
Mm.
their whole thing where you just like keep learning bits and pieces of them throughout like the little collectibles you can pick up through the game and just being
Mhm.
like, these people don't like humans. What is their deal? These weird alien folks. Did we just walk into a Nier game? What is happening here? oh, Jack works for them. Oh, I guess everyone works for them. Oh no, this is bad.
Except for Neon. Neon didn't
Yeah,
work for him.
Neon's just like a person who lives here, so
Yep.
you're not involved in all this, but everyone else. Yep.
But it's also interesting because like the Lufinians are like a lost race in Final Fantasy One.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's references to them, and there's like a town that was like theirs, quote unquote. So like they're still pulling on the Final Fantasy One lore to like even make these characters like exist in this world.
Right.
Which is clever. I mean, like, I have to give them credit. That is clever. They could have just like made it something completely different from what was in Final Fantasy One. But like, what if we take something that was not explored very well in the game and we do something with that?
Mm-hmm.
And they do. And then
Which
you
I
got
think they do that with everything
yeah,
in this game. So
yeah, like the elf man
Astos.
like that was also something that was in one, right? Like I don't know if Astos himself was there, but like I'm pretty sure the elves were.
I don't know. I've only played like 30 minutes of Final Fantasy One, so
Okay, yeah, Astos is in Final Fantasy One.
well, there you go.
So yeah. Doesn't quite look as much like a Final Fantasy. Um,
Well, yeah, he's just a blob of pixels.
yeah, he's kind of a monster. But yeah, they made him like a weird, kind of hot elf man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Got all that.
Yep. Yep. I'm trying to like find a good picture, but there's not really one.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway.
But yeah, like I think you're right. Like they do a lot of like, here's this thing that was in the first game, but we don't really have like it was an NES game, so we don't have this whole thing of like we can just explore all of this stuff in it. What if we take the time now to do that
Mm-hmm.
and really go into all this sort of stuff and see how it all can shape up to the first game and all that sort of stuff. I thought all the stuff with Jack, like when he finally starts remembering everything, was real interesting. Of how like this whole game he's basically like, I want to kill Chaos. That's it. I don't need to deal with anything else. No emotions or anything. None of that.
Chaos only.
Chaos only. And then he starts remembering like everything he was doing. Like he's an agent of Lufinia. He was basically trying to form a coup d'état against them.
Yep.
And like rebel against them because he didn't like the idea of like them robbing him and his partners of their memories and everything.
And also didn't like that they were like using the people of the
Cornelia.
Cornelia.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that kind of sucks.
So he wanted to try and fight back and was trying to use Astos to do that. And then eventually, obviously he comes back and he doesn't remember anything. So it's just like, ah.
And Astos is even like, oh, you're going to forget me. He's like, no, that won't happen. And then it happens. He's like, no.
He doesn't remember until he's like murdering him. Moida.
So that was sad. And I love his like swanky white outfit that he's running around in when he's like making his plans. And he's like hanging out with Sarah, who's got a crush on him, or he is her first love. Like I don't know the age disparity there, but it seems a little squicky to me, and I'm a little but
medieval times were weird times.
Yeah, but like they're also listening to music on earbuds, so
look, nothing makes sense. Let's be real. Technology just changes in the time between this game and Final Fantasy 1, apparently.
Yeah. Welp. But yeah, that entire thing is interesting that he's like, oh yeah, I'm actually just trying to take all you guys down. I didn't
Hmm.
remember it, but that's the goal.
And then basically starts fully embracing it as more things happen, especially the city stuff at the end, where like the
Oh.
city gets attacked and everything. Sarah dies with it, like because she just gets some injury.
Yeah, it's unclear how she dies. She just got like one bruise on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Also her little sister died. So like the entire monarchy died in one day
Yep.
because her
And
sister's
then you
dead,
got to
she's
kill your
dead.
party members.
Then you gotta kill your party members.
This is real messed up.
Yes. It that was hard. Like, I mean, it was hard as a game, but like I didn't want to kill them. I
Yeah.
liked them.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jack the whole time is like, no, no, I don't want this. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make me do this. And they're like, no, no, you must do this. Keep going. Please murder me. He's like, no, my friends.
Of course, the big swerve is you don't kill chaos, you become
You
chaos.
become chaos.
Chaos.
Yep.
He gets real angry then. He's real angry after that.
Yeah, like when you like kill your friends as Sarah dies and you're like walking through the chaos shrine, like his voice becomes all distorted and
Mm-hmm.
he is just over it. And you're like reading little diary pieces that Astos has left behind for you to be like, hey, this is the plan that you planned. Yay.
Please
Um,
remember.
please remember, it's like, yeah, sorry about Sarah dying. That kind of had to happen. And I feel bad because I know it's going to hurt you, but like,
We need you to become chaos.
we need you to become chaos. And I need you to kill all your friends.
Because if not, you were not going to be able to stop these people.
Nope. So we become chaos.
Chaos.
And the Lufinians are like, oh no, there's a little infection in this world. We gotta get rid of that. We can't
And
have
he's like,
that.
nah, that ain't happening.
Nope. And it kills some kind of like demon-y thing and embraces more chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not gonna get rid of me because they're
Nope.
even like, oh, goodbye, Jack. Like you've been a good agent, but f off.
He's
He's
like, well, screw you.
he's like, no, no, I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
He's just like laughing at them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack Final Fantasy kind of lost his mind at the end there.
Just a little bit. You got the chaos mind.
He got the chaos mind. Um. So yeah, we become chaos. Wild.
Chaos.
And then like he goes and he hangs out on his throne and he's like, all right, well, time to wait here for 2,000 years, I guess.
Yep. And then my pals show up.
Make some plans and like it shows us what we knew all along, which is that like the four main like villains of one
Are your pals.
are your pals. So like the Lich that we fought and the Kraken
Tiamat.
and
And the Fire Lady.
yeah, I forget the Fire Lady's name. But yeah, they're your pals. They're gonna help you plan.
And get you some cool new armor.
Be ready to train the Warriors of Light.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't realize that the armor had earrings until the very end. I was like, wow, they even pierced the armor's ears.
Look, they were bored. They had time to spare.
2,000 years. Like, yeah, I'd figure out how to pierce armor's ear too.
Yeah. I really like that they show the scene of like the Warriors of Light actually showing up and to
Yeah.
confront him, and then like the post credit scene is just like the first cutscene you see in the game, just recontextualized of like, this is actually Jack, getting Princess Sarah
Yep.
as he's told her he was going to.
Yep. 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 I did appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like we knew, but like
Yeah.
seeing it again at the end, I was like, ah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Like it makes more sense of like what's actually happening and everything.
Yep.
Um, like I told you at the end of this game, like I genuinely would like to see this team remake Final Fantasy 1 in this style.
I would play that.
And like you go up and you have to fight Jack and everything. I think that would be real cool. I think you could lend itself to, doing that because Final Fantasy 1 is kind of like just nameless characters that do jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just basically kind of do the same thing here, but maybe like add some characterization to some of those characters that really didn't have any.
Right.
Considering, they've done it here and they did it pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
Making
like
something out of really relatively nothing.
they gave some characters that like I genuinely didn't think I was going to care a whole lot about going in. Like
Yeah.
I actually did. I cared a lot about them.
And I think it would be interesting to see like that Final Fantasy 1 recontextualized with this.
Yeah.
Because I think you could still add, like pump in some stuff from this and everything, and like add in more lore and all that sort of stuff, but just make it a better game to play. Considering Final Fantasy 1's not the best game to play.
No, it has not aged spectacularly well.
No, but like I think it would be interesting to see that, like, and it'd be fun just because like the way this gameplay is, like it's real fun to play. So there's that. It would be just real cool to see like a different take on, a game like that.
How mad do you think the fanboys would be?
I mean, probably real mad,
Get a
but
little
like,
salty.
who cares?
I mean, they were salty about this game existing.
Yeah. Because you gotta have people who be like, "It's a Nomura game. It's going to be bad." It's like, I mean, to be fair, Nomura is a producer on it, and he did like character art in like the original concept. Like, this isn't necessarily his baby. This isn't Kingdom Hearts.
This is not Kingdom Hearts.
So like, if you want to lay blame about chaos and all that stuff, look at Nojima and his weird writing style. So
Yep. Yeah. Nojima is he's quite a guy.
yeah.
Yeah, the chaos stuff is pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of salt about this game, and like honestly, I don't care.
You fully embrace chaos.
I did. Like I didn't go in thinking like this is going to be the greatest game I've ever played, and it's going to be like the most serious story that I've ever had, and like it's going to change Final Fantasy forever, like any of that. Like
Or
I
even
knew,
like you didn't go into this thinking like, oh, this is gonna be the dumbest thing I've ever played.
no. I went in knowing there was going to be stupid moments, and I embraced that and got a game that I actually very much enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
Like I was pleasantly surprised by this, and like we were joking after we finished it, like this is like my in March, it's the game of the year so far, but there's still a lot of months to go, but like,
and you haven't played a lot of like new releases this year, so
no, I haven't. But when you're up against Variable Barricade, like
yeah, the competition is not that tough.
no, it's not that tough. But that being said, I did enjoy this game. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Also, something that I want to mention because I appreciated it. Like legitimately, this is me being serious. I'm not like making fun of it. I thought it was really, really cool that you had a playable lady character who was like in a middle range of age.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wasn't like a teenager and she wasn't like an old lady, because that's usually the two spectrums you get for women in video games, unless they're like a dead mom or something.
Right.
So this is like, no, here's this badass lady character, and she's probably like in her 30s, maybe 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool, I like this. Like I appreciate that, because that's something that like you'll get guys like that. It's fine. Like you will definitely get guy characters like that, but you very rarely get women characters like that, especially playable ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, yeah. And then, she like would blow for me. And I'm like, yay! Thank you. I'm still mad at you because you were Tiamat and that was a terrible battle. That dang boss. Any boss that can heal itself.
It's rough.
Automatically a bad boss.
I'd agree with that.
Automatically a bad boss. I ain't here for that.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I definitely do want to commend it for that because that was cool.
Yeah.
Even though again, Neon looked like she was from a whole different game.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of matched. They like looked like they were from the same universe.
And then there's Neon.
And then there's Neon. It's like you definitely look like you were just thrown in here from another game. Where did you come from? Also, good lord, you got a short sailor dress and your butt's hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chaos.
Yeah, that's Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Like, surprisingly a good time. I would recommend it.
Surprisingly a good time.
And that's the seal of approval. You should put that on the box art, Square Enix. You don't have to pay me for that quote or anything. You just
they should pay you for that quote.
I mean, they probably should, but if they want to just throw it on the box, there you go. Surprisingly,
it's
a good time.
Surprisingly, a good time.
Surprisingly, a good time. Although I did like nope out at the end because I was like, no, I'm not doing these side quests that like apparently don't exist and are stupid. There's no way I'm gonna do trophies for this game.
Yeah.
So I'm done unless they do some fun DLC.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at as well. But I had a good time with it, so can't complain.
One thing that we should mention before we go. I love the stupid outfits in this game.
Oh yeah, there's some real dumb outfits.
They go with the jobs. Oh man, they're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We shared some pictures of our Jacks occasionally, and the beautiful looks that he was rocking. And you know what? You just gotta appreciate it. It's beautiful.
Chaos fashion.
Chaos fashion. So if you're here for some chaos fashion, this is the game for you.
This game has it in spades.
In spades. I just had to mention that because I enjoy games that like when you change the armor, it changes like your actual look. And this one was just stupidly chaotic when it came to the look of them.
Yeah, it's a good thing to bring up.
Yeah, I liked it. And all your characters get it, but Jack was the one that was really funny for me all the time.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, we have defeated chaos, so
no, we became chaos.
All right. I mean, we defeated the chaos outside of us, but now we have embraced the chaos inside of us.
There we go. That just sounds like something that somebody would write in their live journal.
Yes.
2005.
Bringing it back.
Yep.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Uh-huh.
So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You'll also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a wealth of bonus content as well.
Uh-huh.
Next week. What are we talking about next week?
I don't know. I could talk about Kirby.
Curb. Maybe we'll dive into some Kaito.
Kirby and Kaito. We can't add another K or it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's true. I figure we'll be done with that by next week because it's a DLC.
I figure so. But
And I
yeah,
think we were technically halfway through that game, the DLC. So
yeah, Curb and Kaito then probably.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So look forward to all that next week.
What a combo.